future doctors. Welcome back to Best Medicine's lecture series on AQA GCSE Biology for students in the UK. Today, we're going to be discussing the plant's need for hormones. Before coming to this particular topic, we have already finished hormones in humans. So now we're going to do plants' need for hormones. So remember, hormones are cellular signaling molecules, and they're able to travel, in humans at least, through blood, from one part to another, from glands to an effector organ or a target organ, and cause an effect. For example, insulin is produced by the pancreas, and it targets liver and muscle cells, among other cells. Similarly, plants also have hormones, and plants' hormones are also able to travel through the vessels of the plant. And those hormones would coordinate and control plant responses, right? So again, hormones would be produced in one area and then carried around in other areas, for example, by phloem or diffusion. So the number one hormone that you need to be aware of, and really it's not a very deep topic, all you need to do is memorize a couple of hormones and their functions, okay? A couple of hormones and specifically their functions. So number one, we have auxins. Auxins. What are auxins? Auxins help regulate growth of plants, okay? Auxins help regulate growth of plants. They help control responses to light. You want the plant to grow towards the light, and that is called phototropism. We'll talk about this. And gravity. That is called gravitropism. Remember, you want the root to go towards the ground, towards gravity. And you want the shoot of a plant to go away from gravity, right? And that is gravitropism. The way this works is that you would have uneven distribution of auxins that will cause the cells to grow at different rates, leading to bending, right? You want to bend towards the gravity or towards the light and so on. Now here's the thing, something very important you need to know is that in shoots, high levels of auxins are going to stimulate cell growth. Okay, so in shoot cells that are specific to auxins, in a sense that when they sense auxins, they stimulate cell growth. They start dividing by mitosis. In roots, the opposite occurs, okay? In roots, the opposite occurs. In roots, they inhibit cell growth in plants. It's the same hormone, just in different areas. So the cells are reacting to it differently. So again, in shoots, if you have auxins, that's going to stimulate cell growth, while in roots, it's going to inhibit growth inside root cells. So number one, we have phototropism. How does this work? Phototropism essentially is basically the growth of a plant towards light, right? As you can see in this diagram, here's the sunlight, you want the plant to grow towards it, right? Seek the light. And therefore, you have phototropism, which is done by auxins. So how does this work? Well, here's how it works. Essentially, the tip of a growing stem, or a meristem, is sensitive to light. So here's a meristem, and this is sensitive to light. So the tip essentially is sensitive to light. Now what this does is that it senses sunlight. So if the sun is here and is throwing sunlight towards this tip, here's what occurs. The cells in the tip of the plant start secreting auxins, and those auxins accumulate on the opposite side of the tip as the sunlight. So they accumulate away from the sunlight. Right? So if this is producing auxins, here's auxins accumulating away from the sunlight, right? Away from the sunlight in the shaded area. When auxins accumulate in the shaded area in the stem, right? It's not the root, in the stem, does it stimulate growth or inhibit growth? Of course, it stimulates growth, right? So it's going to stimulate growth towards the sunlight. Here's how it works. It's going to stimulate the growth on the left-hand side of the plant so that the left side is going to start growing like this, okay? The left side is going to become bigger, while the shorter side is still short. So again, what I mean by this is that you would have a look, right? Have a look at the lengths on each side. So this side is this long, and this side is also this long. But as the sunlight is stimulating growth by the use of auxins, the plant is stimulating growth on the left side becomes longer. The left side becomes longer. while the shorter side stays the same. So have a look at the length of the left side here. The length of the left side has increased significantly, hasn't it? All this is increase, while the shorter side is about the same. What does this mean? This means that cells on the left side, on the shaded side, have grown by mitosis and caused the plant to bend towards the light. And we call that what? We call that phototropism, okay? Phototropism. So let's have a look at your need notes. Here is how it works. Phototropism is the growth response of a plant to light, with shoots typically growing towards the light source. How does this work? When the light hits on one side of a shoot, auxins move to the other side, to the shaded side. This causes the cells to grow more. On the shaded side, this uneven distribution of auxins leads the shoot to bend towards the light, enhancing photosynthesis. So auxin's key role in phototropism is to accumulate on the side away from the light, okay? Stimulating cell elongation, causing the plant to bend towards the light source. Next up, we have gravitropism. So gravitropism is the growth response of a plant to gravity. Remember that when a seed sprouts, right, when it germinates, then a root comes out of the seed and a shoot comes out of the seed, doesn't it? Let's have a look. So here's a seed, right? Here's a seed, and then this seed is planted under the ground. So here's the ground, and then that's the seed. Now, two things are going to happen. One thing's going to happen is that the seed is going to start giving out a root, right? It's going to go down. And on top of it, it's going to give out a shoot. It's supposed to go upwards, isn't it? Now, auxins are released in both parts, in shoots and in roots. Auxins in the shoots will accumulate at the bottom, and what they do here is that they stimulate the cells at the bottom to grow. So they stimulate the cells in the roots to start growing by mitosis. And as the cells here grow, the length of this side is going to increase, pushing the plant upwards, right? As the shoot is supposed to do. What about in the roots that's supposed to go down? Well, in the roots, due to gravity, auxins again accumulate at the bottom of the root cells, right? The root cells that are near the bottom half of the ground. Now, in roots, auxins inhibit cell growth. So because they inhibit cell growth, the side that is present above is going to start increasing in length, because those cells are going to start dividing. Do you understand? So the cells at the top of the root are going to start dividing, which pushes the root downwards. So it's the same hormone in both roots and shoots, doing two opposite things. In the shoot, it accumulates at the bottom and stimulates cell growth due to gravity. In the roots, it again accumulates at the bottom due to gravity, but inhibits cell growth, so that the cells at the top divide more than the cells at the bottom, causing the plant to bend downwards towards gravity, okay? And that is the function of auxins in terms of gravitropism. The gravitropism, also called geotropism, is the growth response of a plant to gravity. Remember, roots grow downwards, and that is called positive gravitropism, okay? Positive gravitropism in roots. While negative gravitropism in shoots. Well, shoots grow upwards, so that is called negative gravitropism. In roots, auxins accumulate on the lower side, while in shoots, they accumulate on the lower side as well. However, in roots, they inhibit cell growth, while in shoots, they stimulate cell growth, causing the shoot to bend upwards. Now, auxin's role in gravitropism involves its differential distribution, directing the growth of roots and shoots in response to gravity by either inhibiting or stimulating growth on the lower side. Understood? It's very, very simple. So what are some of the uses of auxins? Well, one of the ways, again, For AQA GCSEs, uses are not very influenced, apart from ethylene or ethene, which is a gas hormone. Apart from that, uses really are not very emphasized. However, the functions of the hormones and the names of the hormones, especially names and functions and the way they work, especially auxins, right? Gravitropism and geotropism, that is very, very emphasized. The use of auxins, rooting powders to stimulate root growth in cuttings. It is also used in weed killers to promote rapid, uncontrolled growth in broad-leaved plants, killing them. It is also important in plant tissue culture for cloning and growth stimulation. And next up, we have gibberellins. Gibberellins are quite easy. Because we just looked at roots, we should be able to understand them. G for gibberellins, G for germination, okay? So that's what you want to remember. G for gibberellins, G for germination. Gibberellins cause seed germination. They also help cause stem growth and flowering, okay? Seed germination, stem growth, and flowering. So that's two very important things. The name of the hormone is gibberellin, and what does it cause? It causes seed germination, stem growth, and flowering. The most high yield parts about gibberellins are those. What are the uses of gibberellins? How can we stimulate germination? What are the uses of stimulating germination, stem growth, and flowering? Well, number one, we have in the brewing industry, right? Beer is made from plants. So brewing industry to end seed dormancy and speed up germination. It also promotes year-round flowering in pot plants. Increase the size of the fruit, especially seedless varieties, by replacing natural hormone levels. Okay? And next up, we have ethene. Ethene, or ethylene, as you learn in chemistry, if any one of you have done organic chemistry, you would know the formula of ethene. Ethene is C2H4. It's an alkene. Ethene is a gas. That's very unusual, right? It's a hormone as well. Ethene actually is a flammable gas, but it's also a hormone in plants. What does it do? Well, ethene dissolves, goes to different cells, and causes fruit ripening, especially, right? Fruit ripening is very, very, very important link with ethene. So you want to remember the name ethene, or also called ethylene, and fruit ripening. It also controls cell division. So what are the uses of this? Well, it's obviously used for the ripening of fruit, to allow for better timing of harvest and transport. Unripe fruits can also be transported, like for example green bananas, right? You can take green bananas, transport them, and when you want to sell them, you can turn them to yellow, ripen them up. So unripe fruits are transported, chilled, and ripened as needed to reduce damage and over-ripening. Okay? And that's really it. So these are the hormones of plants that you're supposed to know for AQA GCSE Biology. General uses of plant hormones: enhance plant growth and success in agriculture, horticulture, used in gardens and farms to improve plant propagation and food production, and they also assist in producing many identical plants. Plant cloning through tissue culture, benefiting farmers and horticulturists. So congratulations on this very short video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. So again, if you want to buy some of these notes, you can text us in the WhatsApp link provided below, and if you want to book some lessons, again, you can reach us out through the WhatsApp. And I'll see you guys in the next one.